Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann on ON Radio, Tuesday morning, December 19th. Joe Callahan here, Ed Cruz here, and hello, Ed.
Hello there.
And are you saying that our national news was incorrect, Ed? On the pause of the Wall Street or whatever he said?
Yeah, he must be using
old news.
Old news.
Old
The
fake
pause
news.
of the Santa Claus rally.
The pause is on, but you disagree with that.
I
huh?
disagree with that.
All right. I'm going to listen to Ed instead. Linda Tebow could not be here.
At least
but,
for the next 58 minutes.
But Linda could not be here this week. We're sorry about that, but
Yeah,
weather
sorry
really
about that,
screwed up
Linda.
her plans,
What do
so
you know?
everything had to switch around. But Dave's here. Hello there, Dave.
Here I am.
Do your best Linda impersonation, okay?
Hi there. I'll
All right.
sit here and smile broadly and agree.
Okay, good. It's time for our first message from the Carew Investment Group, so take it away, Ed.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Good morning, everyone. This is Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group. Telephone number is 765-8880, and we've got some simple advice about investing. Well, the truth is there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends lasting for days, weeks, and months long are gone. Sometimes trends last for only part of a day before changing direction. And investing is not an activity for those who can't take the time to study each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, I've seen them all, and I'll invest for you the same way I invest for myself. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with me. So give me a call, or you can call my son Paul at 765-8880 right here in Woonsocket. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
All right, our national news said the Wall Street pause is on, but you're looking at other information, Ed. And,
Implied open is 86 positive points on a Dow
so
at this minute.
So that's good?
Oh, yeah, it's a whole lot better than a pause
Okay, very good.
or a zero or a minus.
What are the hours for Wall Street this week? Do they take
9:30 to 4, regular hours.
But I'm thinking like Friday.
9:30 to 4,
It's
regular
not,
hours.
Okay, not a half day or anything
no,
like that.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, good for them. They can work the whole day. All right. So nothing new, nothing changes. So that's good news there. Obviously, the big story from yesterday is the weather that took place. I think it took a lot of people off guard.
Why?
They
We were
just
screaming
heard-
about it on Friday.
I know, but they don't believe you.
Yeah. I
And
guess.
they say, oh yeah, it's going to rain. It's going to be windy. Yeah. And then, wow, it's really windy. And it's really raining.
They shouldn't allow this kind of wind. What's the legislature doing? Let's get Congress in on this.
I think it just caught a lot of people off guard because they just really weren't expecting it. Now, if you had said, it's going to snow, if this was the temperature dropped like 30 degrees and we're going to have 4 feet of snow, people might have paid attention. What? 4 feet of snow? But it's going to rain.
Believe me, it would have been 4 feet plus of snow.
Yeah.
You had rain amounts in excess of the story you have the printout over there.
Oh, yeah,
in excess of 5 inches.
In some places, yeah.
In some places, in excess of 6 inches.
Yeah.
In Coventry, was it 6 or was it 7 and low change?
5 point something in Coventry, like 5.4.
Well, yeah, but there was another place that was more. You have the story there?
I'm looking real quick. Let's see it.
It would be like story 7, 8, or 9, or 5 or 6 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
5.15 inches in Greenville.
Right. That's the place that had 5 inches.
6.7 in Coventry.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yikes.
Almost 7 inches of rain in Coventry measured on an official instrument.
Yeah.
So, really. So there was a lot. And it was a really feisty storm.
And
And there's still people out there who are
Without
listening to
power.
us on battery-operated radios because they don't have...
the power hasn't come back yet.
They don't have electricity yet. It's smattered all over the place. I know this Coffee Ann show replays later in the day and on Wednesday too, so I'm not going to get into specifics right now, but in generalities, we still have hundreds of people that do not have power in our listening area, and they're waiting to get put back on. Rhode Island Energy simply says, We're going to get to everybody by 10 o'clock tonight.
Fingers
And-
crossed.
Yeah, right. Well, we certainly hope so. And then, of course, if you were, and Joe and I were talking about this earlier, you can have the kind of power outage at your home that is just you and your neighbors have power. Interesting thing that happened to me just once when we were living, raising our family out in Pascoag. Tree came down, took the feeder line from the pole to the house. Guess what? They'll come out and they'll put the feeder line back up, but not until an electrician is on board. You have to have a licensed electrician there to finish the rest of the work, to put the cable to the meter up on the peak. Then they'll attach to that, and the rest of the like that. So you've got to now go out and get an electrician to do that. And what we didn't know is that they weren't coming back to put it on because we didn't know that we were the only one on the block. So it wasn't until the next day after a night without power that we found out, hey, it's only us. And so then we called the power company, said, get an electrician out there, and we'll come when the electrician comes. Oh, it was
How long did it take you to get an electrician?
2 days.
No, that's not awful, but
Right. Well, without electricity, it
that's
was.
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, it could have been 2 weeks.
Those were the days without generators, Joe.
Ah, yes. Ed, did you have any damage at the homestead out there
Nope.
in Middleborough?
Nothing at
No,
all.
no trees came down.
No trees came down in a yard.
Okay, good.
You know, a tree came down across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Well, across the street. The closest neighbor, a quarter of a mile away, a tree came down and blocked the road for a bit. But
Did it block your driveway?
no,
No.
it was beyond me.
Right.
All right. All right.
So the wonderful people on Katrina Road came over with their chainsaws and hacked it
Cut
up.
it up. All
Cut-
right.
yeah.
That's nice. I just had a lot of down limbs in the yard, and it's funny. We took down part of a fence earlier in the year, and if we hadn't done that, the tree limb would have taken down the fence for us. But it missed the fence because it wasn't there anymore. There it was, gone. We just have a lot of dead branches that are still just up in the trees. So a lot of them came down, and I was telling Dave, one of them came down vertical, stuck in the ground.
Really?
It came down with such force. So it's like, wow, look at that. There's something you don't see every day. And I was telling Dave earlier this year, I had to put a new roof on the house, and while we were looking at the new roof, I said, you know what, those the gutters are not positioned correctly. I said, can you take it so that the water goes in that general direction, right to left, so it drains out? Because right now it kind of it goes. Some water goes to the right, and just stays there. And sure, we can do that. So they took down the old gutters, put up the new gutters, and now everything drained correctly. Now I have damage to my gutters. So they'll be getting a phone call. It's, guarantee? Are they under warranty still? It's under a year. I'm hoping I still have something. So, but I really can't complain. Other people, like Dave said, without power. So, me complaining that my gutters are bent, it's not really that tragic.
Except you just spent
the
a lot of
grand-
money to have it all done.
That is true. I'm looking at it. I go, this is probably a very easy fix. If they come back out, take these down, put new ones up. An hour, you'll be done. So fit it in between other projects, please. So at least that's my plan. So that's where we're going there. All right. Other things going on. There was an Uncle Tony's restaurant down in Cranston that had to close. The health department showed up and said, "Hey, we don't like what we see." Well, no. According to Dave, there was construction across the street from this Uncle Tony's,
Yeah.
and so
Well, that's what we heard. Yeah.
all right. So when there's construction across the street, it tends to
All the vermin.
it tends to rattle them. It shakes them up, and so they go running. And now it's cold outside, so they're looking for shelter.
And they say,
And,
hey, how
and
about some Uncle Tony's
how about
pizza?
some pizza? That's right.
Yeah.
So this is on Oak Lawn Avenue, and the Department of Health said, "Oh yeah, rodent droppings, live and dead cockroaches, and other issues." They don't go on to explain what the other issues might be, but all right, this is a concern, especially at a restaurant. And so, but they went in and cleaned up their act, and they were able to reopen. They were only closed for a couple of days, but they get in there and say, "Okay, we'll fix it. We'll get it. We'll get it taken care of." And so it's taken care of. And this Uncle Tony's happens to be down in Cranston. There's a few of them in Rhode Island. How many would you say there are of Uncle Tony's? I know of
Oh,
at
I
least
wouldn't
two.
know. No. If it doesn't say Ollie's on it, I'm not interested.
How about Uncle Ollie's?
No.
All right, so they're all set. Now we need to get Ed's take on this, and this is one of those questions of do you believe her or not? All right, Ed?
Who's her?
That would be Governor Maura Healey
Oh,
in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And did you hear the story?
You're somewhat familiar with the lady.
Yes, I am.
No, I mean not personally, but you
No,
know who
right,
she is.
right,
But so she says that if a cabinet position was offered her by the President of the United States, that would be Joe Biden, she would say no. She's very happy being governor of Massachusetts, and she says she could do more in Massachusetts, campaigning for the president, and that the president has done great things for the state of Massachusetts. So, it's up to Ed. Well, up to Ed now. Do you
And besides,
do you believe her?
And besides, it's just so Rhode Island to do that.
Yeah.
But you have to stop and consider this. Gina Raimondo said no 3 times until they offered her the cushy job she
really
wanted. Right? They offered her this job, no. This job, no. This job, nah.
Commerce Secretary? I'll take it.
Okay. Sold.
Do you believe Maura Healey?
Of course not.
Okay, I don't either. Because if she was offered a pretty plum cabinet position, I'm pretty sure, especially if the president's coming and asking you personally, I think you're going to take it.
Yeah, just get her out.
Just get her out
The,
under any means necessary.
Yeah.
But can I fan the flames of discussion here another
Go ahead.
moment or two? Now, this young lady obviously is extremely liberal,
Yes.
and extremely happy that she's in Massachusetts, where liberals can get elected and tolerated. Would she want to go to Washington, where it changes every 4 to 8 years?
Well, she'd only
It may
probably
not be good for her.
I know it may only
happiness.
last while Biden's president. If you get a new president, she'd probably be out.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
but she may not want her position in liberal Massachusetts more than 4 to 8 years either. So,
no.
she probably has her sights set on some liberal educational facility that she would like to become president of.
Harvard?
Hey, that president's going nowhere so far.
Oh, no.
But there's plenty of other liberal.
It's the kiss of death when your board of directors or your board of regents supports you and says you should keep your job. Because what they don't tell you is you should keep your job until we change our mind when all this blows over. Yeah.
But there's plenty of other liberal colleges in Massachusetts she could go to.
Yeah. Try to find one that isn't.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Time's up.
Wow. I'm thinking maybe some of the state schools less liberal.
I don't know.
And I think of all the colleges that are out that surround UMass Amherst. Smith is the one, and not thousands, but there's lots of small schools out there that are incredibly liberal out there. So okay, or maybe she knows. Maybe she thinks looking ahead that I wouldn't take the job with Biden because he won't have the job in a couple of years. Maybe she sees Trump or one of the other Republicans taking over, and then she will be out of a job. No, I'd rather keep the security of being governor. And I don't know if she's up for re-election again. Is she up for re-election in 24?
No, isn't it a 4-year term?
I believe it is, but
Yeah, I think
is
so.
not the 4th year?
No.
So okay, so she's riding it pretty easy right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and all she gets to do is say we need another emergency declaration. She's good at that. She does that a lot. So, all right, we're gonna take our first break here on the Coffee and program, and more is coming your way. But right now it's time for a second message from the Carew Investment Group. So take it away, Ed.
Okay, thanks again, Joe. Good morning again, everyone. Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. Are you retired or retiring soon? Well, that's great. Congratulations. You may be retiring, but your money can't afford to retire. I'm Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group at 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket, and at the Carew Investment Group, we offer personal investment management of client money, especially from the proceeds of their 401k distribution after they leave the workforce. So to find out more about our services and for professional management of your investments, you can call me or you can call Paul at 765-8880. Securities are offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
Thanks, Ed. Coffee and will continue calling comments and questions at 766-1240. Now that you have pre-ordered your Christmas desserts from Wright's Dairy Farm, when you stop by to pick them up, remember to pick up a gift card or two. You never know when you're going to need another gift to give this season, and a Wright's Dairy Farm gift card would be treasured at Christmas time and throughout the new year. Wright's Dairy Farm, 200 Woonsocket Hill Road, North Smithfield. Check out their entire lineup of wonderful bakery items online at wrightsri.com. Wright's Dairy Farm in North Smithfield. You're invited to stop by the Museum of Work and Culture store located at Market Square in Woonsocket for your holiday shopping. The museum store carries a wide variety of local and regional history books and children's books. And while at the museum, check out their new exhibit, Art Stars Voices. The exhibit features the artwork of local middle school students from Founders Academy at Beacon Charter School. Led by local artist and teacher Paul Cody, students learn various artistic techniques and processes that allow them to create works that showcase their voices. Full of powerful and personal messages, this exhibit allows the next generation to make themselves heard. Be sure to visit and see this great new exhibit. Museum of Work and Culture is open Tuesday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and Saturdays, 10 to 4. Admission to the museum store is free. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Blackstone Valley's ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here along with Dave Richards and Ed Carew. Linda Tebow could not be with us. Now, I'm going to bring up this story. It's going to sound like it's a political story, Ed, and you're going to roll your eyes.
Yeah.
But it's really not a political story. It's more of a First Amendment freedom of speech question.
Oh, okay.
All right, so but it deals with some politicians. So the Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Neronha and the Superior Court Judge in Rhode Island, Daniel Procaccini, the judge ordered the Attorney General to appear before him because the judge was not happy over a social media post Neronha made on his personal, that's important, on his personal X, formerly Twitter, account. And I think what he was saying was that Neronha was criticizing something the judge had done. All right. So Neronha had commented about bench trials in which a defendant goes before a single judge instead of a jury. So Procaccini later files a complaint with the Office of the Disciplinary Counsel alleging Neronha's comments amounted to false statements and unethical conduct. Okay? Neronha filed a response that the order violates his right to free speech. The two have spoken. They've exchanged emails in recent days, but the hearing will still go forward. So the question comes, does the Attorney General have the right to say whatever he is thinking on his personal social media account?
That's a tough question.
It is, because is he doing it as Peter Neronha, or is he doing it as Attorney General
Right.
Peter Neronha? Mm-hmm. Is this official or not official?
Just because it's on his personal account, he probably has some kind of duty to restrain some of his thoughts. I don't know.
Well, people say Donald Trump never did that.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump, he's also being charged with a bazillion
That's
different
true.
things.
All right. And I know, is it fair? Is it not fair? No, it's not. But when you're in the spotlight, let's say, when you're in the public eye and you're the Attorney General, you're in the public eye, you're held to a different standard.
Well, that's what I mean. If you
then,
want
like,
to tell me personally, one-on-one, that this guy is a jabroni or something,
Yeah.
well, that's
different.
okay.
But
But
once
if
type
you want
it
to
out-
publish that the guy's a jabroni or whatever,
Yeah.
that may not be okay. I don't know where the line is for free speech.
Right. So, I don't know what this
I do.
hearing. Oh, Dave's got all the answers. I don't know what this hearing is going to produce. But anyway, what are your thoughts on it then, Dave?
Publish. If you
Okay, publish
publish
it.
your thoughts,
Well,
you may cross a line.
Okay.
If you speak your thoughts, that's one thing.
But once you type it out and put it on social media,
You
it's
put
published.
it in a publicly accessible printed medium.
Okay.
That's publishing.
But what has he done wrong?
What is it? Well, I don't know what he said, so I can't answer that.
Well, all we have
I,
is
I
what they tell us
I
here.
can't say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And if he has an opinion, and he says, okay, he goes on, suppose he publishes an opinion, and he says, in my opinion, nobody can touch him. Mm-hmm. Right?
So I don't know if that's what he
Right.
said or not.
It's just like, the hockey announcers. You hear how they labor when there's been a bad call.
Yes.
When you're
stumble on
watching the
themselves.
games, right? And they could legally say, in my opinion, that call should have gone this way, and no one could ever touch them, and they could sue whoever fired them. But the NHL will fire them if they just say, "Boy, they blew that call."
Well, I guess
There's a
Peter-
difference when you say, "This is my opinion." It's more protected than when you just express an opinion.
Ed, is it assumed then if it's your personal?
Oh, careful about assuming.
I know.
Joe.
Okay, presume, is that better?
Yeah.
Is it a presumption that if you're publishing something on your X account or your Facebook account, then automatically it's assumed that's your opinion?
I don't know.
No.
Well, in your opinion,
In my opinion, is it an opinion?
That's right.
No.
I don't think you can assume or presume that it's an
An opinion.
opinion if it's,
If it looks like you're stating a fact,
yeah.
all right. Okay.
Right. That's the difference, Joe.
Yep.
It comes to intent. If you can prove intent that I am now going to speak my opinion, I am not telling you it's the truth, it's the way I feel, then say it immediately afterwards, then it is more protected than if you simply blurted something out in public.
So I haven't followed the story closely. Does the judge want the attorney general out over what he has said? Or
The
published?
stories that I've see, first of all, I haven't ever been interested enough to do any further research than
On
to see
this, yeah.
the wire copy stories. The wire copy stories don't go into what he said, what he did. He just made comments that the judge say, yeah, and in most professions there are standards of conduct, and in the legal profession there's even more standards of conduct, and they are very careful about keeping those standards up. I'm sure there's standards in your profession as well,
better believe it.
fiduciary standards, and things that you can't say this because someone might construe your comments because you're a professional to mean something more, and you can't just say your opinion without saying, well, my opinion based on research is that this is more likely to happen than that. Now, you could get away with saying something like that, right? But then again, right, when it comes to compliance,
Right. When it comes to compliance, you don't get away with that.
compliance, right. So you can have the right to say something, but you'd better not. Right? Now, the Attorney General is in somewhat of a gray area. He's a licensed practicing attorney. He's also an elected public official. So, which hat was he wearing when he said it?
I don't know.
And does anyone from his other life, when he's wearing the other hat, get a rash about him saying that? Usually the prudent public speaker will consider that they could be interpreted differently than what they mean.
All right, Dave. You used to write a column that it was in the Call newspaper
Yeah.
a number of years ago. Did you
I
always
stopped
put
during the pandemic because
Right. Well, you had a lot of heartburn, you said.
Well,
But did you always put in the column, hey, this is my opinion?
on some occasions, yes.
Okay.
Well, because it's an opinion piece. I mean,
Well,
I would
right.
simply say, hey, the way I hear it is this. Or I would say, well, in my opinion, so and so is doing this or something. You know, yeah, I would always do that. You know why? Because I've been trained in the broadcasting industry. You know, because here I am talking to you, and I'm telling you, based on my experience, these are the differences based on what I've been told by lawyers of what you can get away with more than get away with that. And you're in a gray area when it comes to free speech. It's like the old, you can't shout fire in a crowded theater. Now, it's free speech, but there's harm that can come from it, and so there's mitigating social mores that you can't do it. And they've even gone to codify it in law in that particular example. But we're still in the muck and mire of the same thing. You have the legal right to take your car and drive 75 miles an hour down Clinton Street in Woonsocket. There are laws against it, but you can do anything you want if you want to accept the consequences. So now get into a gray area and say, okay, I can drive 27 miles an hour down Clinton Street in the posted 25 mile an hour zone. Forget for a moment that usually there's a little reasonable judgment in law enforcement officers. But technically speaking, you're speeding and you could be cited for speeding. So so much of this is circumstantial, is that, you know, who do you give heartburn to? Are they in a position to give you heartburn back? You know, and you have to consider all this stuff before you start pounding your chest and saying, it's my right to do this, even though I don't care for the consequences when I do it. There's going to be consequences for everything.
All right. Let me ask you this question. It's kind of off topic, but it just popped in my head. How come, if you're a client of the Carew Investment Group, you cannot leave a message on your answering device saying, okay, Ed, buy 50 shares of Pioneer Aviation. If you leave a message, you can't take that order.
That's correct.
Why is that?
Because compliance said so.
Well, okay, what's their reasoning then?
Because we don't know for sure that it's not somebody else disguising their voice,
Pretending to be me?
pretending to be you.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's part of it. The other part of it is if you start accepting orders, and let's say you call in and you say, buy me 100 shares of this.
Yep.
And I buy it. And the next time you call and you say, buy me 100 shares of this, and I don't get the message for whatever reason. Now,
Liability.
you're right. You're going to say, how come you bought it there? How come you didn't buy it there?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the message. It's not good. But when you already know that we're not going to buy it if you call and leave an order on the phone, because it says so right on our message.
Right.
Right.
I've heard it. So,
Right.
Okay.
It also says so in our emails.
Yes.
Right. So then so it's not our problem.
And it removes their ability to confirm with you that this is your free will act indeed, and that you're not just discussing it, that it is actually an order and you mean for them to do it. Because now, if he's on the phone with you, if Ed's on the phone with you, and you say, I'd like you to buy, are you sure about this? You know, why do you want to do? You can determine whether or not they really want to do it, and it's not just a misunderstanding, right?
Well, it also, yeah, I guess that's part of it. It gives us an opportunity to maybe not try to talk you out of it, but to point out something about that particular trade that you want to do that you may not have thought of. Or we may have picked up on a piece of news from one of our news services earlier that day that you haven't seen yet that might change your mind about doing such a thing.
Like they're about to go bankrupt or something?
Well, you know,
Well, yeah,
not
that's an
necessarily
extreme.
that,
I
but
know, it's
let's say
extreme,
you want to buy such and such a semiconductor company,
Yeah.
and you don't know anything about their competition.
Right.
But earlier in the day, the competition comes out with something that's going to blow these guys out of the water. And it would not be in your best interest to go on with your purchase when this other guy has just gotten approval or just gotten a big order from a former business who used to buy from this company A Now they switch over to they're going to buy from company B. You don't know about it yet, but it's on a newswire.
Yeah.
You may not want to buy it once you find out that they're losing 25% of their business, But if you still do, and you realize that all of these things, we'll buy it for you. It's your money.
Right. Okay. If you were to get a message like that, is it your responsibility to call the customer back and ask him about what the message that he left, or would you wait until they actually called you?
No,
back
I would
again?
probably call back and say, "Hey,
"What are
did
you
you
doing?"
did you call and leave a message that you wanted
Yeah.
such and such a thing?" No,
Yeah.
I would call back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just
Interesting
just
discussion.
get the little ins and outs of what your business is. And
Yeah,
because I have heard it on yours, and I have heard it on others that all say the same thing. I said,
Insurance
it
companies,
must be true.
all insurance agents have that too.
We
You know,
don't take
we
orders over
can't
the
buy
phone.
we can't bind coverage just because you left us a message.
All right. We'll take another break here on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way, and it's time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Partly sunny skies today with a high near 44. There is a 20% chance of a shower or maybe even some light snow after 5 p.m. today. Winds will be diminishing all day, gusting up to 21 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 25. Wednesday's weather sunny and 42. Thursday, sunshine and 38. Friday, sunshine and 35. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 39. Sunday, mostly sunny and 44. And on Christmas Day, mostly sunny skies with a high of 47.
Currently, outside at the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, the sun is shining, and we have 40 degrees. Drought, war, and rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Happy holidays, everyone. This is Judy Sullivan, General Chair of Autumn Fest. On behalf of the whole committee, we want to wish you all a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. The Milk Fund has done so much to help those in need, and we are thrilled to support the good work that many volunteers do each year to make it happen.
Thanks, Judy. And once again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Autumn Fest Steering Committee.
Are you looking for solutions to meet your business banking needs? At Milford Federal, the longest standing community bank in the area, they offer customized solutions for commercial lending, cash management, online banking, and payment processing services. Their business banking team is committed to the growth and success of your business with local decision making and a relationship-based approach. Let Milford Federal be your banking partner. Visit them at milfordfederal.com today. Milford Federal Bank, our community, your bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, and MLS number 465956.
This is Dave Richards with a reminder for those who want items on our Milk Fund radio auction. Pick up and pay for your items during regular business hours here at the radio station, 8 to 4 weekdays and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon at our studios at 985 Park Avenue, corner of Kennedy Street in Woonsocket. Please pick up and pay for your Milk Fund radio auction items within a week. Thanks.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Ed Crew and Dave Richards. Linda Tebow could not be with us this week. We hope Linda can be here next week. So this happens. It seems to be happening a lot more. I don't ever remember it happening when I was going to college and things like that. But the Boston Globe is reporting Northeastern University has mistakenly sent out acceptance letters to 48 applicants. And you can say, oh, it's a computer issue or it's a computer glitch or someone hit the wrong button. But
But somebody just made reliance on that fact.
yeah.
42 somebodies?
48.
48 somebody's just made reliance on the fact that you communicated to them in an official manner
Yes.
that they are accepted for college. Try to get out of it now.
Well, they can. I don't know if it works because they
they-
try to retract it.
Wow.
So last year,
There could be lawsuits and damages.
well, there could be. Last year, the university's law school sent out 200 acceptance notices by mistake. And
Right.
That was last year. Northeastern has not said what steps will be taken to avoid it happening again.
Because somebody could say, well, I'm accepted in Northeastern, now I'm going to turn down so-and-so.
Right.
And then so-and-so takes my seat and gives it to another applicant. And now you don't have any place to go because Northeastern shouldn't have accepted you. You know, there's reliance and calculable damage. There's tort everywhere. The four-letter word, tort.
But this happens.
Liability everywhere.
But this happens not only at Northeastern, but it happens at a lot of schools. And they send out acceptance letters, and then they try to send out emails that say, "Sorry, you shouldn't have gotten that," kind of thing. And
Well, they can do that, and so some people would just say, "Oh, well, okay, well, I'll just go with the other acceptance that I have," and there's no damage at that point. But
But-
some people will have reliance, and they will cause actions that would be damaging.
because some people they tell the students, I know because my daughter's going through this, that you should send out applications to 5 or 6 schools. You can do more, but they recommend 5 or 6. But some people only send out applications to 1.
At what, $50 to $100 a piece?
If you go to the school's website and apply right to them, yes, it's $50. But there's another thing out there. There's another company that came up with a way to make money, and they just call it the Common App. And you fill out 1 application, you send them $50, and they send out how many you want to as many schools as you want.
Oh, I see.
It's now, not every school accepts the Common App, but 90% do. So
Okay.
the odds that your school will accept it are pretty good.
Ivy doesn't grow on trees, you know.
No, it grows on the wall, doesn't it? Oh, that kind of ivy. I see. All right.
Oh, the news story I heard on that this morning.
Northeastern? Yeah.
Yeah. Also went on to say that Northeastern contacted the 48 students who mistakenly got the letter.
To tell them
And
what?
To tell them that they got the letter by mistake
Okay.
and that they are going to review all of the
Their applications.
again.
So they may still get in,
So they may still get in.
but just not yet.
Well,
Okay.
they
Only kidding.
made an effort.
Well, time is on their side right now because my daughter's getting her acceptance letters in, and every school says if you want to you've been accepted in. If you want to be a part of our school, you need to send us a deposit by May 1st.
Yeah, I was
So
going to
there's
say
plenty of
that
time.
just because you got accepted somewhere doesn't mean that it expires in 15 minutes.
That's right. You have plenty of time to make a decision
Yeah.
of which school you actually want to say. Okay, here's my. It sounds so cheap. Just send us $250 and you're in, and we'll send the real bill later.
Yeah.
So she's still deciding, by the way, and she did not apply to Northeastern University. This doesn't apply to her at all. So there you go. Up in Massachusetts, there was those people that were arrested for running brothels in Watertown and in Dedham and in Cambridge, and it's funny, Dave, you'd be working in the media. What's the first thing the media people ask?
I'm sorry?
What are the first thing the media people usually like to ask?
Well, they want to know the names of the participants.
That's right. Where are the bodies?
Right.
we want names. Well, there's 28 people. There's a federal prosecutors are seeking charges against 28 people who were in the Boston area, and they say, well, we'll release the names once the formal charge of a crime has happened. So they're not going to release it yet, but they say it's coming. So just if you're still waiting for names, you got to wait a little while longer. Doesn't say exactly when the formal charges will come down, but it is up to 28 Johns. I guess they're all males. So yeah, took place. The brothels allegedly took place in luxury apartments, Cambridge and Watertown, and they say, all I say is prominent names are on the list.
Right.
Well, who's a prominent name? Are we talking judges?
Bozo the Clown.
That's not that prominent anymore.
Oh, well, I always thought of his big nose as being prominent.
So, have you heard any more about this, Ed?
Nope.
No, on this one? Okay. So, just...
Why would you expect Ed to know about brothels?
Yeah, why?
Why? This
But
this,
no,
this
Mike.
begs the question.
No.
Yeah, are you implying that? Are you
I'm not implying
besmirching me
anything.
somehow?
I'm being libelous over here. No, because occasionally you say, okay, I heard earlier
Yeah.
that this is taking place. Our news stories, this was printed when? 4 days
morning.
ago.
I
So,
don't know.
but probably a little after midnight. So we're thinking, well, maybe something new has happened. Maybe something else has come out. And they said, oh, no, the 28 names have been released, and here they all are. Well, here's someone you may know, but that just hasn't happened yet. I'm not suggesting anything. Ed doesn't even know where Watertown is.
Oh,
It's
sure.
north of Boston somewhere.
Somewhere,
Yeah,
see?
suburb of
There you
Boston.
go. I wouldn't call it a suburb, really, would you?
Well, I don't know. That's a difficult thing. I mean, here's something I don't know. What I
Yeah.
think I know is that the communities, which used to be small farming communities in the general vicinity of Shawmut, which became Boston, are collectively discussed as Boston, but are not legally attached to Boston. And I make a difference between that and what happens in New York, because the 5 boroughs of New York, which were independent communities, legally combined to become New York City. I don't think that all, Watertown, Mattapan, Roslindale, all around, I don't think any of those actually decided to become part of Boston. They just
No.
circumstantially are in the vicinity, and because they're within 495's envelope, everyone calls them Boston.
When
Am
they're
I
not.
right or am I wrong?
Well, they all have their independent towns.
Right.
I don't know if they
don't
call
Well, there's
themselves
borough
Boston.
governments as well down in
Yeah.
New York, but they're all collectively, legally under the umbrella of New York City.
Okay. Well, anyway, back in Mass, Ed, you need to pony up some more money, because state officials in Massachusetts want to spend close to $1 billion on emergency shelters
Oh, goody.
in the upcoming fiscal year. The predicted amount includes shelters, support staff, services, intake sites, school district reimbursements, and other related costs. Officials say the expected amount that will be budgeted for shelters is close to $600 million, and the state is running more than $200 million over budget in shelter costs in the current fiscal year that will end on June 30th. So we only need $1 billion.
So maybe Maura Healy should go to Washington.
And what? And find more money and bring it back?
Oh, no, she's good at spending it.
Well, yeah.
She should go there with the other people.
Well,
who,
hold on
seem
just a
to be good
second
at
now.
spending it.
I'm not a fan of the young lady either, but I see maybe a little careless comment here at her expense. She has been saying now for quite some time that the federal government oughtn't, and the other states, oughtn't be sending all these indigent people to Massachusetts. And she's pointing the finger and saying, this is why our homeless figures are going up. You're sending us refugees. Knock it off. And so I'm not so sure that she's culpable. She just happens to have a brand and flavor of politics that other people don't like, so they want to victimize her state.
There's a law in Massachusetts called right to shelter.
I know, isn't that stupid?
Well, if you're the governor and you find that the law is not working properly, it is
But you can't do it because then all your liberal friends won't invite you to their parties anymore.
tough.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't this sound like or the state wants more money to build more shelters so we can have more people come in?
Well, it sounds like they know more people are going to
Are
come,
coming.
so they want more money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they want more money so more people can come. It's, this is the chicken or the egg thing.
Yeah.
Well, like they said, the predicted amounts include shelters, so it sounds like we need to build more.
Well, yeah.
and
When you
quickly.
when you have a law that says right to shelter, which
You need- you
means
need
that
shelter.
if you're in Massachusetts and you have no place to go,
Yeah.
you have a right to shelter. So they have to provide it.
And
It
so-
doesn't say it originally the law was meant so that if a Massachusetts resident is homeless or through whatever reason, whether it's their house burns down or whatever, or they
Okay.
become homeless, they have a right to shelter. The state has to take care of them. It wasn't meant so that people from Guatemala or Mexico
dropped off
or
here.
anywhere else could cross the border and come to Massachusetts
Well, that's what it's
and
being used.
expect. I know.
That's what it's being used for.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That this law is not properly drafted.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
it's
Now,
got
how old is
unintended
that law, though?
consequences.
I got to ask, how old is that law? Does anyone recall? Is it a
No, I
dozen
don't.
years old?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember when it passed. But I can tell you that holding the governor as an individual responsible for that Well, it's their responsibility to comply with the laws.
Yeah.
But are they responsible for that law being there?
She's not responsible for the law being there, but when
Right.
you see a law that isn't working properly, I believe it is your responsibility to
Yeah,
at
but she can't
least
do that.
go to
She
the.
won't get Christmas cards from all her liberal friends
Oh,
if she
never
backs
mind the
out.
Christmas cards.
Yeah.
It would be her responsibility to go to the legislature and say, "Look, this isn't working. Fix it." You know,
they-
I know she. I don't think she can personally fix it.
No, that's the legislature.
Oh, no.
Right.
Now she-
But
has
I
she-
haven't. I
has
haven't heard of any steps being taken
to go fix
to
it.
try to, to make this law be what
Change
it
it.
originally was supposed to be.
Intended to be. Okay.
All right. Well, I have to agree with you there.
All right. Break time once again here at Coffee In. More coming up, so please stick around.
Hi, I'm Kathleen LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket. You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, Coffee In on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and Ed Carew. So now, Ed, you've been known to go out and shoot at targets and things like that with your
Yeah.
with your guns.
I don't hurt them, though.
You don't hurt the targets.
No.
No.
Just
Okay.
make holes in them.
That's good.
No target was destroyed in the making of this video.
Right.
So just take heed of what this man down in Texas did, which is not a good thing. Texas man is learning the hard way that what you share on social media has real-world consequences.
Weren't we just talking about this? Consequences.
Well, yes, consequences with the Attorney General. Buell Smiley loved to post anti-government rants and encourage others to blow up critical infrastructure. This is back to the fire in the theater thing. There were also pictures posted online showing his collection of guns. Smiley, however, is a convicted felon.
And convicted felons are universally prohibited from owning firearms.
That's right. And even
Actually, possessing firearms.
that's right. I gotta say
More than
you can
just
always say,
owning.
"Oh, but it's not mine. I just
Yeah.
took a picture with it." You
You cannot
hold one.
possess a firearm.
Okay,
right?
the FBI raid of his home, which is in suburban San Antonio, turned up a small arsenal. A judge sentenced him to
Well, it was
5
only a
years.
small arsenal.
That's right. A judge sentenced him to 5 years in federal prison for being a felon in possession of a firearm.
And being stupid.
You wish you could tack that on. Even if it was in an extra year for being stupid.
Right.
Wouldn't that be great?
Unbelievable.
So, yeah. But this is one of those, like it says in the beginning, he's one of those anti-government people, and they're out there, and he's like, you can't tell me what to do, and blah, 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 and I don't recognize the U.S. government, and and I'm going to do what I want. Okay. Back to there's consequences to your actions. We got you, and now you're in this nice 8x8 cage.
I'm a political prisoner.
Okay, well, enjoy your 3 squares a day, and well, not really, but enjoy the prison food.
Well, there's
For the next 5
there's the
years.
age-old argument of being able to speak against your government in the interest of redressing grievances or trying to improve it, and then just generally working against your government which in its most extreme sense is sedition, there's you look at that and you say to yourself, well, listen, why would you stick around in a country that you hate, that doesn't meet your expectations? Why wouldn't you seek out another country? And you say, well, because I don't have to. Well, fine. But while you're here, you really shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be. What are all the things that you get from your government that are beneficial to you? Well,
Roads.
Nobody's invaded this country in a while.
Yeah.
So you have fairly secure border. You have a police department. You have paved roads. You have regulations for drinking water supplies. All the things that if you were homeless and out there, you wouldn't have. So the government really is helping you, and you're taking the benefits and being ungrateful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what Buell's, by the way, he's in prison. For
I'm
the next
sorry.
5
You were trying to
years.
ridicule a guy, and I was trying to be sensible. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. You may have heard it on our newscast, but Southwest Airlines has agreed to a record-setting civil penalty over last year's debacle.
Your first loss is your best. Get it over with.
The Department of Transportation said the airline has agreed to pay a $140 million fine.
Yeah.
30 times more than any other fine for violating consumer protection laws.
Mm-hmm.
During the year-end holiday travel period last year, Southwest canceled almost 17,000 flights, leaving 2 million travelers stranded. The settlement also requires Southwest to create a fund that will be used to pay or provide travel vouchers to passengers whose flights are delayed or canceled due to a factor in the airline's control.
Right. But that's not the real headline there, Joe. You missed the entire headline. Headline is,
What did I miss?
American Airlines now has cheaper fares than Southwest as they pay for the settlement.
Well, I got in just before this came out, so I it's not that.
How you got to run a discount airline when you got to pay $140 million?
Well, not
for the
anymore.
fine?
It's funny because I keep getting pop-up ads that say, fly Southwest, $39 fares.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's just a come
And
on.
it's just, it sure is. Yeah, $39 if you're going to fly from Providence to Baltimore.
to Hartford.
Yeah, Baltimore and maybe Washington, D.C. And that's it. That's the $39 fare.
And you're
You're going anywhere else, 119, 130. Mm-hmm. Like, geez, this it's not deceptive.
Yes,
but it is in a way.
It's deceptive in as much as it's a loss leader. It's a come on.
It is.
The tolerance of the public, however, has generally looked the other way on that kind of too good to be true advertising, figuring, well, okay, caveat emptor. If you don't know you're being taken, then shame on you, not shame on the perpetrator.
Well, I always checked it out, and the $39 fare is never where I want to go. For whatever, it's like they know. It's like they look. Where's Joe? Where does he usually fly? He goes here. Well, that one we bump up the prices.
Yeah.
What bothers me the most about all of the airlines, or at least most of the airlines, is that they all have these little, as President Biden calls them, junk fees, right?
All right.
I used to like
gosh,
the
yeah.
older days, like before they passed these laws, this law that said you had to itemize all of the fees
Yes.
that you paid. I used to like it when they said, you want to go from here to there, it's going to cost you $500. Okay, so it's going to cost me $500. I don't want to know that it's going to cost me $99 to buy the ticket, but it's the basic ticket,
Yes.
right?
No
you
luggage.
want to be able to pick out a chair, or you pick out your own seat. Well, there's another
That's another-
$50.
yeah.
You want luggage? Oh, okay. All right. And first thing you know, your $99 fare is more than it would have been if they put it all together.
Yep. But they all do it now.
I know.
American and United and Delta.
They all do it to a certain extent. Yeah.
'Cause I've seen it where, the cheap flight gets you your seat. You can't bring any luggage on.
Right.
You can't pick where your seat is.
Right.
And if the oxygen mask drops down,
You don't
put
get
yours
one.
on first, but there's a $50
No, you
charge.
don't get one. And then they go, okay, well, I guess I got to bump up to the next level.
You didn't let me finish. $50
sorry.
charge to turn on the oxygen.
So you say, okay, I can't get the basic. I got to get the next step up. And it's such a big jump to the next step up that allows you to pick your seat or bring on a
Yeah,
carry-on
yeah.
or or something. It's like, oh, so,
This just goes to show you they're trying to legislate morality. Oh, we have to itemize all these charges. Yeah, right. Legislate morality, wreck society. It's just not going to happen.
So, on another subject, I don't know if this name means anything to you, Ed, but I'll throw it out there. Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quarterback.
Quarterback for the New York
New York
Giants.
Giants.
That's right. So, I don't know if you heard this story, though. An event featuring the New York Giants rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito is being canceled at a New Jersey Italian restaurant. Now, according to the owner of Consiglio's, DeVito had agreed to a meet and greet at his restaurant this coming today, as a matter of fact. However, he says DeVito's agent doubled his appearance fee. It went from $10,000 to $20,000 because the Giants beat the Green Bay Packers. All right,
DeVito had a good game.
he had a good game.
Conspicuously good game.
Coniglio says he runs a small family business and $20,000 is just too steep for a 2-hour appearance.
Right.
$10,000 is a little steep for a 2-hour appearance.
Well, sure it is.
DeVito's agent denied that a contract for the appearance had been signed. Probably not, but it's
Well, it's just like this.
It's
So
funny
now
that
the
this
player
stuff
is out $10,000, and the agent is out his commission.
His commission fee.
So you want to be jerks? Go ahead. There's consequences for being jerks.
Yeah,
Joe.
I'm canceling you showing up, and I don't know how much more business that would have brought in for this guy's restaurant in New Jersey with this guy showing up. But I don't know. But we've gone
Do you know how
through
many
this.
plates of food you have to sell to get $20,000?
Yeah,
That's
I
a-
was
that's a-
gonna
that's a-
say,
that's
yeah,
a lot
in
of
2
pasta.
hours, you're
Yeah.
gonna move them in and out.
But I just remember, years ago when we brought in Pat Patriot
Yeah, I
to
do,
come to
yeah.
Autumn Fest. But before we decided on Pat Patriot, I said, well, what's it going to cost to bring in a player, kind of thing? And the Patriots were always, we don't want to do that because it's in season. Kind
Yeah,
of,
it
all right.
is. It's a
But I
distraction.
ended up going to the Bruins, and they said, oh yeah, we you can get a Bruin to come. It's like, well, it depends. I said, well, what's the cost? Well, it depends on who you want. All right.
Bobby Orr.
He would have been no. We were looking for an actual player.
Oh, an active player.
An active player. That's not. That's how I should say it. And like Bergeron and Chara, $10,000.
Yeah.
But at least they were upfront about it. If
Yeah.
you want the top guy, it's this amount of money. Thank you very much. Let's go back to Pat Patriot at 800. We probably could have got Bobby Orr maybe for less.
Yeah, well,
But
5
not
or 6.
but not
yeah.
much less. It would have
Yeah.
been like closer to 5. It's like, okay, let's just all right. It's a nice idea, and this guy in Jersey, nice idea. Let's bring in the big name quarterback who's doing well for our team right now, and see if we can bring in some people but get some pasta. And I don't know how he could have. I don't know how he could agree to the $10,000 fee,
Yeah.
unless he was getting it from somebody else. But $10,000, $10,000 to $20,000. That's big. That happened to when I was in college. There was a band that was going to come play at Rhode Island College. The Hooters were coming, and I think they wanted $10,000 to come play. Rick had its own little organization that brought acts in, and they budgeted $10,000. Okay, well, next thing you know, MTV hits, and the Hooters all of a sudden have a big hit on MTV. I don't know if you remember the song. It was called "And We Danced." Any remember, Dave, at all?
No.
It was a hit for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as it hit MTV and became a hit, bang, the price went to $20,000. And the people at Rhode Island College said, "We don't have $20,000. You agreed to $10,000, and that's what we're going to pay you." And they backed out and said no. And on the exact same day they were supposed to play at Rhode Island College, they played at URI for $20,000. They paid them. It's like, oh well.
Hey, it's showbiz.
That's I guess that's business.
Yep.
And that's the way it works. I don't remember Rick suing them or anything like that. I don't know if any contracts were signed, but it was just nope. We're very popular now, and now we can gauge we can get $20,000 for an appearance. And we said, Rick said no, and they said okay, we went someplace else. And I think we got like Roomful of Blues came to play instead, which I like better. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
And where are the Hooters now?
I have no idea.
And they're not a band anymore. So
They've disbanded.
they disbanded. That's right. So they're all done. And let's see, this was pretty funny. Last thing I want to bring up, a viral video showing a UPS truck in Pennsylvania got a boot on one of its tires doing its delivery rounds. Yeah, they tend to park where they're not supposed to park because they're under the gun.
Yeah.
And they got to make these deliveries. But it's drawn the investigation from the chair of the Allentown, Pennsylvania Parking Authority. The boot was eventually removed a half an hour later, but Chairman Ted Zeller says the entire thing is inexcusable. They never should have done this. He said that while UPS has multiple unpaid parking tickets, keeping a delivery driver from his work was, quote, not appropriate action. Can you just imagine the driver calling back to the office? There's a boot on. I can't move. There's a boot on the truck.
Yeah.
I can't make my
So
deliveries.
pay those parking tickets, UPS drivers. Otherwise, you'll be late for your next 25 deliveries.
That's right. We'll be delivering at midnight instead of 10 o'clock at night now. All right, we got to run. Thank you very much for listening in. Ed Carew, thanks for coming in. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
All right, and Dave, thanks for sticking around.
We'll see you back on Boxing Day, Ed. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you this afternoon at 4 o'clock with Joe and myself and John and Nicole Brian for the Milk Fund Radio Auction.
Excellent. Coming up next is the Woonsocket, the Blackstone Valley Prevention Coalition.
Yes.
Is next with Lisa Casafarro.
Bigger than Woonsocket, Joe.
Here
the
on
Blackstone
ON
Valley.
Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. 2 people were found dead from an apparent gunshot wound